How to play the Sicilian defense in chess. Imagine facing an opponent who throws a punch right at your center control from the very first move. That's what the Sicilian defense does in a game of chess. It starts with the move one pawn to e4 and black responds by moving the pawn to c5. This move immediately challenges white's plan to dominate the middle of the board, especially the d4 square. Instead of mirroring white's move, black fights for the center in a different way, creating an imbalanced position that leads to exciting, tactical battles. To play the Sicilian defense well, you need to follow some basic steps. First, respond to white's opening with the move one pawn to c5. This move stops white from easily pushing d4 and e4 pawns to control the center. It sets the tone for a game full of counterattacks. Next, develop your knights early. Move the knight from b8 to c6 to support the pawn on c5 and put pressure on the d4 square. Then, bring out the knight from g8 to f6 to attack white's e4 pawn and strengthen your hold on the center. A common idea is to exchange pawns on d4. After white plays d4, you can capture on d4 with your c5 pawn. This exchange opens lines for your pieces and increases your activity. As the game progresses, you can choose from several popular variations. The Najdorf variation involves playing pawn to a6, which stops white's pieces from pinning your knight and prepares for a push of e5 to challenge white's setup. The dragon variation fianchettos the dark-squared bishop to g7, giving it a long-range influence over the board's dark squares. The classical variation develops the knight to c6 early and fights for control of the d4 square, focusing on solid development. The Scheveningen variation keeps pawns on d6 and e6, creating a flexible and resilient pawn structure. Playing the Sicilian defense means understanding that it often leads to sharp positions where both sides have chances. Black usually aims for queenside attacks while white might focus on kingside pressure. Learning the main variations, common tactical themes, and typical plans helps you adapt to different situations. For example, if white tries to push aggressively on the kingside, you can counterattack on the queenside. If white develops quickly, you can look for tactical opportunities to break through. In summary, start with one pawn to c5 to challenge white's control of the center. Develop your knights to c6 and f6 to support your position and put pressure on white's pawns. Be ready to exchange pawns on d4 to open lines for your pieces. Pick a variation that fits your style, whether it's Najdorf, Dragon, Classical, or Scheveningen, and learn its main ideas and tactics. The Sicilian defense is favored by many top players because it offers chances for dynamic, fighting positions in every phase of the game. With practice and study, you can turn it into a powerful weapon in your chess arsenal.